There you see the two teams lined up, and let's run through those starting lineups very quickly. For Andover, in goal will be number 1, Ken Platt. On defense, 75, David Dyhoff, number 30, Tom Allers, and number 19, Steve Thomas. The starting midfield, number 4, Keith Storm, number 5, Jeff Wadsworth, and number 22, Scott Morrison. The starting attack will be number 6, Todd Holtzner, number 12, Tom Griffith, and number 24, Scott Furniff. For Towson, Bob Papanio, number 1 in the goal, Dave Bacher, Tim Washburn, and Brendan Kelly on attack. The starting midfield will be Fusting, Dorsey Moore, and Berquist. And on defense, Paul Wayner, Eric Legay, and number 9, Mark Evans. And we're set for the face-off here at UMBC. In the BC final game played just prior to this game, in a thrilling game in overtime, Falston defeated Northeast by 8-7. So the Class BC champions this year is Falston, and they beat Northeast in overtime, sudden death, 8-7. And we're ready here for Towson. On the right of your screen there, you see the Towson face-off man. That's the specialist, and that is John Harold, number 15, a senior. And he will be facing off in there against the Andover Archers. And we're underway at UMBC in the Class A finals. And Harold gets it for Towson. Now what usually happens is Harold will come right out, and number 25 will take his place at Sam Goff. So that starting midfield is actually John Sheehan, Sam Goff, now in, or will be in, and Dorsey Moore. So Towson, that's Washburn behind the goal, losing the ball. Andover is extremely tough on defense. They have 4 shutouts this year. In the playoffs, they beat South River 13-0. So they are a defensive-minded club, very, very strong on defense. Towson, of course, very strong on the offense, featuring Brendan Kelly this year with 40 goals and 27 assists. But Andover counters on attack with Todd Holtzner, who has 43 goals for the season. So now Andover moving into their offensive end of the field. We have no score, early seconds here at UMBC. And there's a shot by number 5, Jeff Wadsworth. Campanio with the stop. He's a very active goalkeeper. Comes out, gives it to 23, Eric Legay. Here comes Eric. Andover very active on their ride. You can hear the Towson fans down in front of us chanting out those letters, T-O-W-S-O-N. Pompanio with a nice pass ahead, and here's Brendan Kelly. And a shot by number 19 for Towson, Tim Berquist, and a nice stop in there by Kenny Platt, an outstanding goalie. 3.2 goals against average. Second team all-county player in Anne Arundel County, and we have an injured player on the field for Towson. Coach Randy Days and assistant coach Randy Walker out there to check on this.
Wilson, it appears as though the goalkeepers are certainly ready for this game. We've had each side taking one shot, and in both cases the goalkeepers being very alert and at just the last second saving the shots from going in. The goal there at Towson stopped. It looked like the ball was going to roll in, and the Towson goalie very alertly was able to just pull it right out before it crossed the plane there.
Gary, I'm looking around the field, and I'm concerned for the Towson fans that injured player is indeed Brendan Kelly. I may be mistaken, but I don't see him anywhere else on the field.
I think Kelly is bending over, yes.
No, that's right. There's Kelly.
He was just bending over, and you couldn't see his number there.
There's the Towson bench. You can see some midfielders there. Number 20 is Dave Fusting. Dave's been ill, but he's here today. Number 10 there, Richard Rosenthal, and 25 is Sam Goff.
I'm wondering if it might be Pompanio. He's the goalie. I can get that right here in a minute. It was What do we have? Number 19 there, Wilson.
Tim Berquist. And Berquist had a big day in the game we carried in between Towson and Delaney, but he seems to be all right, running off under his own power. And the Towson coaches and trainer doctor back to the bench. So we will play on, and Andover will have the ball. Again, playing it back to the goalie, Platt. Platt, a senior this year. He'll be graduating.
And we have high hopes that he'll be at Catonsville next year, Wilson. He has indicated that he is looking favorably toward coming to Catonsville and playing in our lacrosse program.
Towson on the attack. We've got no score with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left to go in the first quarter. This is the Class A state finals. This is it. The season is over after today. That's number 3, John Sheehan with the ball. And as you can see, Andover very tough on defense.
There's a double team. Beautiful double team.
Excellent double teaming. Andover's done this all season. But Towson retains control. And that's Brendan Kelly with the ball. Kelly running out in the midfield now. He's actually an attack man, but of course he starts a lot of plays from his this midfield position. Picked up there and a shot by number 24 for Towson. Dorsey Moore wide of the goal. And here comes a new midfield in for Towson. That's number 5, Bill Becker, 10, Richard Rosenthal, and 20, Dave Fusting. So Fusting running with this midfield today. Coach Randy Day's mixing it up. That's Bacher, Dave Bacher trying to dodge, but those Andover defensemen are tough.
Wilson, we've seen Towson play a couple times this year, and I don't think they've had anybody quite as physical against them as Andover has come out against them today.
Well, that number 75 there, David Dyhoff, is a high school All-American, all-county, all-everything, an outstanding player. Pushing called on a run on Andover. Keep wanting to say Arundel, Gary. They'll be in the 3rd game today, playing against Annapolis for the AA championship.
Oh, Anne Arundel AA. I guess Anne Arundel with the AA indicates a class AA for the championship. And of course, Annapolis will be defending its state championship.
Here's Towson on the attack. Number 6 is Dave Bacher, an outstanding feeder. And right now, he's setting it up to Kelly. Kelly with that shot, and a nice stop by Platt. Again, his average is 3.2 goals allowed all season, and the Archers with a 12-2 record. Towson so far undefeated, 11-0.
And Wilson, certainly Andover is playing very tough defense, but Towson is controlling the pace of this game. The ball's been in the Towson end practically the entire time.
Here's number 25, Sam Goff. Ball on the ground, number 16 in there, Tony Clark for Andover.
And again, Towson comes away, and that's the 4th time in this exchange, Wilson, that the ball has been on the ground, that Andover has been able to disrupt the offense, but Catonsville's been able to get that ball back and maintain it in the territory.
Or even Towson's been able to get that ball back. Well, Coach Keaty, or Athletic Director Keaty, you've had such a great year this year for the Catonsville Cardinals spring season, and I can understand you're still thinking about all those regional championships. How many did you have this year, Gary?
Well, we had 5 regional championships through the course of the year, and this spring we just had 3 regional championships and 1 sectional championship. So our teams did very well, and as a matter of fact, Wilson, I've just spent the last couple of weekends with tournaments. Our softball team took part in the District H softball tournament. Our baseball team just completed involvement in the Region 20 championship tournament. And our track and tennis teams are due back this weekend. I hope the United strike does not put too much of a disruption in their travel plans, because tennis team's been in Florida and the track team in Texas.
The injured player there was Mike Kaspari for Andover, and he's off the field. And here's Kelly again, coming around. We're going to get a call. So Towson get, in essence, a free shot here. And here's Kelly dodging everybody, shooting, and a nice stop by Platt. Excellent movement by Ken Platt in the goal. But a 30-second penalty will be called against Andover, so Towson will be extra for 30 seconds. So as you say, Gary, Towson has not seen perhaps this year as strong, consistently strong defense and goalkeeping as they are seeing here today. There are those Towson cheerleaders. Only 5 of them here today: Lisa Vickers, Sheila Cohen, Lynn Lacey, Tricia Morani, and Heidi Brower. And the reason is that the other cheerleaders are with the Towson Chorale, who are performing up in New York. A lot of activity in the high school level for the various school activities. Towson again on the attack. No score here. We've got 5 minutes and 10 seconds left. And there's a shot and a score. Number 8, Tim Washburn gets Towson's first goal of the day. And the Generals lead 1-0.
The assist, Wilson, goes to number 3, John Sheehan.
Very nice work around that goal with a short passing game. And there was nothing Platt could do about that. He had a man right on top of him. So Towson draws first blood and leads 1-0 with 5 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in period number 1. And Harold again with the face-off.
And that certainly has been one of Towson's great strengths. They've just dominated face-offs all year.
Well, the Andover face-off man, Gary, actually had 80% won face-offs this year.
Well, just as we said earlier, that perhaps Towson has not faced this kind of physical defense this year. Perhaps Andover has not faced the face-off specialist that Towson has.
Towson winning face-offs this year 163 to 75. And Brendan Kelly with the ball. Towson looking for another goal, turns and shoots. It's wide, and Bacher will pick it up. Dave Bacher coming in. And a lot of physical work. That's behind the goal. Fans thought that was a goal, but it hit the side. And Platt with a long clearing pass over everybody. But Andover picking it up. That's number 6, Todd Holtzner. And we're going to get a call. And it's a timeout. Coach Paul Shea has called timeout for Andover. So it's 1-0 Towson leading with 3:58 left to go in the first period. And as you say, Gary, the game has been played pretty much in Towson's attacking end. But we'll be right back. The score is 1-0 Towson. Stay with Cable 4.
For a fraction of the cost of a commercial health spa, I stay in shape by taking circuit weight training at Catonsville Community College. Circuit weight training is a self-paced total fitness program that allows me to set and work towards my own personal fitness goals. As a student at Catonsville Community College, I enjoy the use of all the athletic facilities, like the swimming pool, the indoor jogging track, and the racquetball courts. Plus, I can earn college credit while I keep fit. So get in shape. Call Catonsville Community College at 455-4555.
We'd like to make a correction on that first goal. It was actually number 6, Dave Bacher, who scored for Towson. So for all the members of the Dave Bacher fan club out there, certainly want to give him credit for getting Towson's first goal, and they lead 1-0. Cable 4 will be bringing some all-star lacrosse games for you coming up soon, and we'll be telling you more about them later. But right now it's number 24, Scott Ferniff, for Andover behind the goal. This is the first time that the Archers have really been able to set up on attack. Towson very good at cutting off those passes. They did an excellent job against Delaney. And that's number 6, Todd Holtzner. He's the 43 goal scorer, all-county performer for Andover. Ball out to the midfield. Number 23 with it, Rick Sovereigns. That's an attack man. He's moving out in the midfield area, as so many teams do now. Often an attack man, such as Kelly, or in this case Sovereigns, will start the play from the center of the midfield. And now Sovereigns going behind the goal. Actually, that's number 22, Scott Morrison. Scott is an outstanding all-county performer, headed for UMBC. Turns and by the goal. Picked up very quickly there by number 24, Scott Ferniff. And a nice defensive play there by number 23, Eric Legay. Passed ahead to Sheehan, and here comes Towson on a fast break. But Andover very quick. And there's Washburn, and he scores. Well, that time it was Tim Washburn on a nice pass from Sheehan, his second assist of the game, and the Generals now lead 2-0. And we've got 2 minutes and 33 seconds left to go, unofficially, in period number 1. We say unofficially because the scoreboard is not official. It's very close, but not official. The official time being kept on the field. So Ken Platt wondering where all those Generals have been coming from, almost unmolested. And here's the face-off. Harold going for his 3rd straight, but not so easy this time. And Andover comes up with it. That's number 4, Keith Storm. Storm being harassed there by number 20, Dave Fusting. They're going to call Fusting on a push. Towson fans, of course, not happy with any call that goes against their team. Again, those officials are Craig Tillman. That's Jim Bateman right there. And the other official is Chris Ely. Craig Tillman, Chris Ely, and Jim Bateman, the 3 officials here today. There's Randy Dace, the Towson coach, and on his right you can see assistant coach Randy Walker. And we're back to action now with Andover on the attack. The Archers are trailing 2-0. That's number 5, Jeff Wadsworth. Here's Wadsworth with it again. And Towson trying to get that ball out. They're down a man. Andover is extra for 30 seconds. That pushing call gave them a 30-second penalty, so this will be their first extra man opportunity. And now the teams are all even as John Sheehan gets back in position. Pompanio scrapping there in front of the goal. Now he's outside the crease. Another call for pushing against Towson. So Andover will retain control. We've got a minute and a half left in period number 1, and there are some of the fans you can see from Andover with Andover written on their sweatshirts. It's a breezy day today, but it's actually a perfect day for almost any sport. Sun shining, and a field here at UMBC in excellent condition. There's Paul Shea, the coach of the Archers, and a stop by Pompanio. Now he comes out of the crease. And this is Legay coming up this far side, this near side. Legay dodging, being ridden hard by Andover. Gold is offsides, Andover offsides, so Towson will get the ball. And taking it for Towson will be number 13, Brendan Kelly. Brendan Kelly on his way next year to Johns Hopkins University. And here's the two-man set up to get Kelly free. And the ball picked up by number 25, Sam Goff. Sam's done a good job today so far picking up loose balls. And Towson takes a timeout. Coach Randy Days wanting to set up a play with 49 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Towson holding a 2-0 lead. And again, the Generals are undefeated. And we'll be right back. It's 2-0 Towson. Stay with Cable 4.
Enjoy learning and earn college credits in your own home with the convenience and flexibility of telecourses from Catonsville Community College. CCC offers a variety of televised credit courses such as management, marketing, psychology, history, and many more to meet your needs. Remember, CCC is as close as your own TV. Call 455-4179 for more information. Register now.
49 seconds left to go, period number 1. Towson leading 2-0, and the Generals have just called a timeout. Coach Randy Days wanting to set up a play to try to get another goal. There he is with his clipboard, diagramming plays, and certainly one of the most successful coaches in almost, Gary, any sport that he gets involved in.
Wilson, he was a very successful badminton coach fall a year ago. Then I was asked to take over the soccer reins this fall. First year as a soccer coach, and the only thing he could do is be a runner-up in the state championship. He also had a very fine JV basketball team this year, and will be heading the varsity at Towson High next year.
So here come the Generals, up 2-0 and looking for that one play, and Brendan Kelly with the ball. So far he hasn't scored, and well, way to make me look bad, Brendan. I just got the words out of my mouth. He comes in unassisted from the midfield and scores his first goal of the day. Brendan Kelly, everything performer. And there are some of those Towson fans, and they are, as one would expect, very happy.
I think we just saw why Johns Hopkins is looking forward to having Brendan Kelly join them next year. Certainly Hopkins has an excellent lacrosse program. That goes without saying. And Brendan Kelly, it would appear to me, would fit right into that program.
Absolutely. And Scott Morrison from Andover is on his way here to UMBC.
And now Andover will, well, I was going to say they're going to control the face-off for the second time, but perhaps that hasn't been controlled yet.
And with 25 seconds to go, Towson will get the ball again, and John Sheehan will have it. So the Generals, you can see there the clock on the field. That's the young lady with the official time. She will follow the official and count down the last 10 seconds. You see Randy Days doing some sort of dance there on the sideline, indicating what he wants his teams to do. 15 coming down now to 15 seconds, so Towson may be content to just end this period with a 3-0 lead rather than take any chances. But they don't want that to happen, to drop the ball. And here comes Andover, but time is running down.
There's not going to be enough time for him to convert on that.
The first quarter is over, and the Towson Generals are leading the Andover Archers 3-0. And we've seen some outstanding work around the goal by the Towson attack and midfielders. And that last goal, of course, simply a one-on-one, unassisted play by Brendan Kelly to give Towson their 3-0 lead. And we'd like to remind you that Cable 4 will be broadcasting the All-Star game from Catonsville Community College, which will be broadcast on Wednesday at 5 o'clock, Wednesday, May 22nd at 5 o'clock. So that's the end of the first period. It's 2-0 Towson. Stay with Cable 4.
Before you start out on the road to a challenging career in electronics, make sure you're headed in the right direction. Start at Catonsville Community College. With a comprehensive program offering certificates in many areas of electronics study, Catonsville Community College can point the way to a rewarding career as an electronics technician, qualified for jobs in business, government, industry, or various medical fields. Certificates are offered in communications electronics, an exciting course teaching technical skills in radio transmission and reception used in marine, mobile, and microwave broadcasting. broadcasting. A certificate in digital electronics will train you in the understanding of design, development, and maintenance of digital instruments, calibrators, calculators, and more. The Computer Service Technology Certificate Program trains individuals in maintenance and troubleshooting of computers. Or you can choose to study biomedical electronics and maintenance of various life support systems. For more information about Catonsville Community College's Electronics Technology Program, call 455-4555. Catonsville Community College, setting your course for success.
Just about ready to get underway. 3-0 Towson. Jeff Wadsworth facing off against John Harold. And number 4, Keith Storm, comes up with the ball. Teams going in opposite directions now. And right to Pomponio. He looks for the fast break and gets it outside. Rosenthal. Nice pass ahead to number 15, John Harold. And Towson will control now on the offense. But some nice defensive work there again by David Diehoff, an outstanding defenseman. Gary David is big and he's got tremendous stick work. A real pleasure to watch him work. Kelly's pass a little bit off target, and here comes number 6, Bacher, however, picking it up behind. Actually, that's Washburn now getting it over. No, this is Washburn. A little hard to see those. That's Bacher. A little hard to see those 6s and 8s. So
from our vantage point, it's almost impossible to tell the difference. And,
here's Dave Bacher coming in, shoots, and scores! Dave Bacher with his second goal of the day gives Towson a 4-0 lead very early in the second quarter. Now, Gary, this is very interesting because only 4 teams scored more than 4 goals against Andover all year. And Towson has scored 4 already.
Wilson, that has to be a psychological advantage to Towson. Towson was not able to take control of the state championship last year as they have this year. And as you've mentioned, Andover's defense has just not allowed this kind of offense to go against them. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they adjust to it.
Wadsworth coming up very nicely with that face-off. Again, he won 80% of them all season.
Yes, and after we talked about Towson's success with the face-off, Andover's won every one since then.
Ball on the ground, and again, a key to lacrosse, ground balls. And Towson over the season with a very hefty margin against the teams that they've played. They've picked up ground balls 514 times to their opponents 282, so they've just about doubled the ground ball.
Well, Wilson, they maintained that in the first quarter because they picked up 7 ground balls to Andover's 3 in the first quarter.
Sam Goff with the ball. Sam Goff, who played attack last year, working on midfield this year.
And there's another one of those ground balls.
Washburn to Bacher. And here comes Bacher outside to Kelly. Now Brendan will take it behind the goal. And he goes around his man. Here comes Brendan Kelly. Shoots over the top. That's that play that we see many attack men using today. They come around, beat their man, come around. When they get picked up, they leap in the air as they spin and shoot for the corners of the goal. And that one just a little bit over the top. There's some Towson fans here today. This is Dave Bacher. He has 2 goals already today. Dave usually a feeder, but today a scorer, and that's number 24, Dorsey Moore.
Well, certainly Brendan Kelly's a fine player and has received a great deal of ink, but as we have watched Towson all year, it is a complete team.
Absolutely.
A lot of teams have tried to double team Kelly, and Towson has certainly adjusted to that. And Kelly's a very unselfish player too, Wilson. He's a fine feeder.
We saw in the Delaney game afterwards, I know we both mentioned, Gary, that it was a team victory. Absolutely playing as a team up and down the line. Nice stop by Platt. And here comes number 16 with the ball. That's Tony Clark, a defenseman. Back to Platt. And there's a pass. Again, 2 bad passes. Now Platt going to settle it down. And Clark comes out, and taking his place will be number 13, Rex Fisher, a midfielder. Platt running it up by himself. And here comes Platt, getting the ball over to number 21, Dean Fairchild, a defenseman, so Dean will come back, while Fisher slows things down, gives it over to 22, Scott Morrison, an all-county performer. Towson leading 4-0. We've got just under 6 minutes to go in period number 2. Andover on the attack. And some good work there on defense by Eric Legay. And here comes Towson. This is John Sheehan. Now he's on the sideline. It's a dangerous place to be. And John dodges everybody. Great move by John Sheehan. Dodge by Kelly. Pass. Score! Beautiful play by the Towson Generals. Tim Washburn with his second goal. And you've got to give Gary credit to John Sheehan for that magnificent move on this side of the field. Passed over to Kelly, to Washburn, and Towson ups its margin to 5-0.
Wilson, we were talking about the team play of Towson. It was epitomized there. She pointed out Washburn's fantastic move there at midfield. The assist by Kelly, the passing was crisp and sharp. As soon as a man would break open, the ball went to him, and resulting, of course, into the score, which was just fantastic.
Here's the scrap for that face-off. And number 15 coming up with it, that's John Harold. And he gives it to Kelly, and Towson sets up again. And they're going to get a push called against Andover. So that means that Towson will be extra for 30 seconds because the Generals had the ball. There's referee, or actually today his official title, field judge, Jim Bateman. So Towson up a man. Brendan Kelly will have the ball out at the midfield. They'll be extra for 30 seconds trying to increase their lead, which is now at 5-0 with 5 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the second quarter. 2 goals so far by Bacher, 2 goals by Washburn, and 1 by Kelly. And here it's behind to Bacher, looking around. Here's Kelly on the outside, into the midfield. Shot stopped outside. Sheehan will retrieve. Sheehan's in there with number 14, Brian Davis. There's the Andover player in the box. He'll be coming in about 15 seconds. Here's Sheehan, shoots too high. Nice stop by Platt. And now we're all even. The team's at even strength, and this is Dyhoff with the ball. He's that all-high school All-American. And now you see why. He can move, he can catch and throw. And here comes Andover. They've got a fast break going, but it's intercepted. Intercepted very nicely by Mark Evans. And Evans ahead to Bacher. And Bacher almost to Washburn. That ball just couldn't get quite through there, that Andover stick by number 30, Tom Allers. Andover very physical on defense. And here comes Sheehan. Right into the goal, falls down. And clearing will be number 13, Rex Fisher. And he goes down. And Brendan Kelly with the ball. Bad pass by Sheehan, but picked up alertly by Dave Bacher. We've got 3:30 left in period number 2. Towson leading 5-0. And now we see, though, what, as we've said before, a smart attack man or a smart midfielder will do. There's been a lot of action here, and Brendan Kelly slowing things down, letting his team get their legs back. And here comes Kelly, left-handed, shoots and scores! I think Brendan Kelly may have lulled them to sleep just a little bit there, Gary.
Wilson, I don't think that the Andover defense was prepared at all for him to take the shot. I don't think they believed he was going to shoot it, and I do not believe that Kenny Platt ever saw the ball. I think it was in the net before he realized the shot had been taken.
Well, just as we said, yes, Kelly's giving his team a chance to get their legs, and Brendan was saying, I hope that's what everybody else is thinking, because he suddenly took off, scored. It's 6-0, Towson leading, 3 minutes to go in the first half.
And the balance of this 6-0 score can be seen in the terms of Bacher, Washburn, and Kelly all sharing 2 goals apiece.
Richard Rosenthal there with a nice ground ball pickup. Harold will come off, and number 5, Bill Becker, will come in on the midfield. So far, it's been all Towson, not only in terms of goals, but in terms of time of possession on attack. And this is number 14, Brian Davis. Davis getting it over to Washburn. Washburn trying to get around, looking for a cutter. And that's number 20 with the ball, Dave Fusting. Dave has been ill the last couple days, but he's here today. I'm sure it would take a gun to keep him away from the state finals. And Fusting picks it up, shovels a pass to nobody, and picked up by Bill Becker. Fusting behind the goal.
Ooh, what a shot by
Kelly. And he paid for that. And we're going to get a call on number 75, David Dyhoff, because Kelly had clearly released the ball and taken the shot, and Dyhoff just gave him a good shot, and that'll cost the Andover Archers a 1-minute penalty. So with 1:53 left in the second quarter, Towson will be extra for 1 minute. And what Randy Days did that time, Gary, he put in some 3rd and 4th string midfielders and gave those starters a chance to rest. So now on the extra man play, he's got his first line troops in there.
Well, we've certainly seen on a number of occasions the past couple of years Randy with some excellent coaching strategy.
Whoa, what a shot!
And as we're talking, the camera fortunately is showing Brendan Kelly doing it again. Brendan's taking a beating out there. Part of that, I think, has to do with a bit of the frustration of the Andover defense. They've just not been treated this way this year, Wilson.
Well, it is now 7-0. Towson in the lead, and that was one of those shots that if you had a highlight film, you'd want to just show that. He shot the ball from down low, beneath his hips, the ball rising and right into the very top of the goal. I remember my high school coach used to love to see those even in practice, because he felt they were almost the ultimate in shooting in lacrosse. But Towson leading 7-0. We've got 1:45 left in the first half. Towson with the ball, 24 Dorsey Moore.
Well, the face-offs have certainly run in streaks. Towson dominated early, then Andover dominated the middle portions of the face-offs, and now Towson has taken the last 3.
And Moore with a smart play there. Instead of going into the pileup and just pushing somebody, he hung around the edge and waited for the ball to come out. And when it did, he was right there. That's the kind of smart lacrosse you see from good lacrosse players. And this is Dave Bacher. And that rather weak shot or pass, we don't know which, Dave intended, but Platt has the ball in his own crease, and he fires it upfield. And here comes Andover on the attack. So Towson will drop back into its defensive posture. Towson playing a very strong man-to-man. And here's a timeout call by Andover. Coach Paul Shea wanting to talk things over because his team is down 7-0 with 45 seconds left to go in the second quarter. And we see this a lot in high school lacrosse, the coaches setting up that play with 30 or 40 seconds left to go. Just a lot more coaching and strategy in the game today than there was 20 or 30 years ago. That's no knock against the coaching and the players of those eras, but the game, like most sports, has just become much more complicated and quote-unquote scientific.
Well, Wilson, we've seen Towson several times this year play, and their fans like to do the TOWSON cheer that they just completed, and you saw. And there is the Towson team that is being inspired by their fans, no doubt. And that spelling out of Towson, of course, coming from Wild Bill Hagee's Orioles spelling, and Towson has used that to their great extent.
Well, there you can see a lot of those fans
There we've
up there.
panned over from Towson to the Andover fans, and they recognize they're on television, and they're still very much behind their team and exhorting them to get back in this ball game, but that'll have to be in the second half.
.45 seconds left to go. We're at the end of the first half. Towson with a 7-0 lead. And there are some of those fans. We saw the Dieterman triplets up there from Towson High School on their outstanding girls basketball team. So here's Andover with the ball. The Archers trying to get something started. They've had a tough day so far. And there's a score. Just as we mentioned it, number 6, Todd Holzner comes around the goal, got away from his man, and put the ball right over Pompanio's shoulder for the first goal today for the Archers. So that timeout called by Coach Paul Shea certainly paid off. So it's now 7-1. Check that correction. The goal by number 18, Steve Finan. 18, Steve Finan scores for Andover. So it's 7-1. Towson leading, 35 seconds to go in the first half. Andover would dearly love, of course, to get another goal here to give them some momentum, but Towson comes up with the ball. And Coach Randy Days quickly calls a timeout with 25 seconds to go to set up a play for the Generals. He'd like to get that goal back.
Wilson, we saw that Randy do the same thing in the Delaney game where with less than 30 seconds to go, he called timeout, set up a play, and there you can see that clipboard high in the air as Randy is setting that play up, and he wants one more before this half is over and to take away the sting of Andover's score.
And there you can see Coach Randy Walker, who works with the defensemen, and I would say in my observations of Towson this year, the one way they have improved dramatically is that defense has gotten much better and more mature as the season goes along. And that has really helped the Generals in some of the tougher ball games toward the end of the season. They're the Towson cheerleaders. Again, many of them not here today because they're singing with the Towson Chorale up in New York City.
You know, Wilson, sometimes we hear a lot said about the lack of crowd at some of the Baltimore County high school events. And I think part of the answer to that is because they have such a large extracurricular program, not only in athletics, but the choral groups, the drama groups, and it spreads the students so far that it's not as though they have no interest, it's just there are other places.
Exactly. And Gary, they're participating, and I think all people would agree that they'd rather see every young person participate rather than be a spectator.
Well, and that's certainly been the philosophy in the Baltimore County schools, participation. But let's get back to this play that today's diagram.
And it's Brendan Kelly with the ball, which he drops.
I don't think that was in the diagram, Wilson.
But there's a push called against Andover, so Towson will get the ball back with unofficially 14 seconds left. The clock is on the field. The scoreboard says 14, but that's unofficial. So Towson's got to do something very quickly here. They haven't got a lot of time, and the defenseman falls down. And here's the dodge by Sheehan, and he can't get the shot off. So it looks like the time will expire, and that's it. The first half is over, and Towson will have to be satisfied with a 7-1 lead after 2 quarters. So a very strong offensive display by Towson and a display of controlling the ball. And when they have been on defense, except for the one Andover goal, they performed very well by taking the ball away and keeping it in their attacking zone. So Towson leading here 7-1 at the end of the first half. We'll be back soon with the exciting second half of today's finals. So stay with Cable 4. to begin. Towson with a 7-1 lead. And if you're enjoying watching tonight's game, we'd like to ask you to come on out to Johns Hopkins University on Friday, May 24th for the County Girls All-Star Lacrosse game and the MSA County Boys All-Star Lacrosse game. And Cable 4 will have those games for you. On Saturday, May 25th at 1, we'll have the Girls All-Star Lacrosse game. On Saturday, May 25th at 3, we'll have the MSA Boys and County Boys All-Star Lacrosse game. On May 29th at 8, we'll have the Girls All-Star Lacrosse game again. And on Saturday, June 1st, our final broadcast of the season, we'll have the MSA versus County Boys All-Star Lacrosse game. Both of those games being played at Johns Hopkins University on May 24th. So Cable 4 with lots more All-Star action for you this season. And here we are ready for the second half. It'll be Wadsworth and Harold again on the face-off. No, this time it's number 13, Rex Fisher. And the ball will go over to Andover. So the Archers trailing by 6 goals, trying to generate some offense here at the beginning of the second half.
Wilson, the Archers are trailing in just about every category. Unofficially, in the first half, Towson controlled the face-off 6-3. The ground balls 12-5, and shots 14-7.
And here's Towson picking up that loose ball. It's John Sheehan. He's been all over the field today. He has a couple of assists. The goals so far for Towson: Kelly with 3, Washburn and Bacher each with 2. For Andover, the 1 goal from the attack man, number 18, Steve Finan. And here's Eric Legay. Eric looking for somebody to break free. Bad pass, and here's that ground ball situation picked up by Brendan Kelly on the bounce. So that looks like an offside call against Andover, but the ball just will continue with Towson. They had possession anyhow. And here comes Kelly. He dropped that stick, and Dyhoff alertly knocked the ball out, but Kelly retains possession, dodging everybody. Out in front, Sheehan with it, and a nice pass. Sheehan to Brendan Kelly, and an absolutely marvelous shot from Brendan Kelly. Wound up and shot it right up into the corner of the goal. His 4th goal of the day, giving the Generals now an 8-1 lead as they draw first blood. And there's number 13, Brendan Kelly. Towson fans, there you can see them chanting up to 8, and then we want more. And Coach Randy Days. And now we've been told that the clock is official. So we have 8 minutes and 39 seconds to go. Towson scoring the first goal by either team in the second half, and the Generals leading 8-1. And it's Wadsworth again against Harold. And Richard Rosenthal alertly picking up the loose ball. So Harold doesn't always get the ball himself, but he sets it up to one of his teammates. Rosenthal on here with number 5, Bill Becker, and no, that's number 20, Dave Fusting. Dyhoff with it. And that ball goes over the end line, and it will go to Towson because that was not a shot. It came out of the defenseman's stick. And there's Coach Randy Dace hollering instructions. And this is Bacher. Bacher getting a shove. Going around his man, comes in and hits the side of the goal. The fans see the net ripple. They think it's a score, but that hit the back. And there's a dangerous situation. Pompanio with a nice play out of the goal. Legay losing it, picked up by number 22, Scott Morrison. Well, that's 23, Rick Sovereigns, the attackman. Sovereigns looking for a cutter. Ball by the goal, shot with the left hand. Both players on the ground, and Andover controlling. And there's a man right in front of the goal. And a nice stop by Pompanio. Pompanio quickly outside. That ball won't go out of bounds. Rosenthal better keep running. And Rosenthal knocked out with the ball. It will go over to Andover. Rosenthal thought that ball would roll out, but in the nice grass here at UMBC, the ball stopped.
Certainly, Wilson, we want to thank officials at UMBC for their cooperation in helping us to bring this game to you today. We have a very nice vantage point here in their press box, and cooperation that they have given us in setting up our cameras and van, very much appreciated.
Beautiful field here at UMBC in western Baltimore County, and that's Todd Holzner with the ball. Pompanio again. In the tradition of Towson goalies, he's very active.
Wilson, even though Andover has not scored here in the second half, they certainly have taken charge offensively. They've had 5 shots already.
This is Brendan Kelly. Brendan has 4 goals today, and he passed. That ball will go out of bounds. The pass intended for Tim Washburn. Towson leading 8-1 with 6 minutes and 23 seconds left to go in the third quarter. There's a Towson fan with a white T painted on her face. And this is number 24, Scott Furniff. Scott still with the ball. Picked up by 26, Mike Kaspari. That's a push against Towson, so Andover will retain control, and with it will be number 23, Rick Soverns. Rick had 25 goals and 15 assists so far this season, but today he's been held scoreless. The only goal for Andover coming from Steve Finan. 22 with it, that's Scott Morrison.
Towson continuing to stay into that man-to-man defense that's been so successful for them.
There's a man loose in the middle, but Towson recovered very quickly. Legay. Andover still with the ball. This is number 24, Scott Furniff. Outside to 22, that's Scott Morrison. Morrison with what might have been a shot, but it was very wide of the goal. Furniff coming around. And behind the goal is number 6, Todd Holzner. Todd is the big goal scorer this season for the Archers. Comes a shot from the outside. Pompanio falls on it, and there's action in the crease. Number 23, Rick Soverns, reached into the crease that time. And that's a no-no, as they say, and Towson will get the ball on the clear.
Wilson, so far in this quarter, Andover has taken 7 shots to Towson's 2. And overall now, what was at the end of the first half a 14-7 shot advantage by Towson is now only a 16-14 advantage.
Coach Paul Shea and his assistant John Appelt looking on anxiously for Andover. And now we're going to get a call. Can't tell exactly what this call is. That was an inadvertent whistle.
That may have been one of the reasons you didn't know what the call was.
That's right. We have an official right up here in the booth with us, Bob Gukwa. And Bob helping us out with those calls with which we are not familiar. Diehoff with the ball for Andover. He gets it over to Platt, and here comes Platt by himself. Nice clear there by the Archers. And number 26 with the ball, Mike Kaspari. And this is 23, Rick Soverns. Towson defenseman doing a nice job. But number 5 comes up with it, Jeff Wadsworth, 21 goals this season, an all-county performer. Ben Van Roy coming on the field for Andover. There's a shot and a stop by Pompanio. Legay with it. And now we'll get a call. Push called against Towson. So Andover will retain control. And in this half, it's been all Andover in terms of time of possession, but the Archers have yet to score a goal. It's 8-1 Towson with 3:38 left to go in the third quarter.
Yes, Wilson, we've been talking about the dominance of the Archers here in the second half offensively, and yet they've fallen one more goal behind.
Number 18 with the ball, that's Steve Finan. He has the only goal today. He passes out in front, and now we'll get a call. Called unnecessary roughness there on number 23, Eric Legay. A 1-minute penalty against Towson. Andover will be extra man for 1 minute. So now we'll see the Andover extra man play and the Towson extra man defense. Drew Bracey in there on that extra man defense. Nice stop by Pompanio. Held his position against the pipe. Andover still with it. Number 4 there couldn't handle the ball, Keith Storm. He gets it back to 24, Scott Furniff. And Pompanio in the crease. And he tried to fire it upfield, but didn't get much behind it. So Andover will get the ball. Bob's got to work on that Gilman pass. .24 with it, Scott Furniff. Back to Furniff, he'll shoot. Stopped by Pompanio, picked up by 23, Rick Sovereigns. Andover firing away here, and now we're all even. Here comes a shot, stopped out in the midfield. Dave Beecher with the ball being hounded, and we're going to get a call against... They're going to get a hold there called against Andover. That'll be a 30-second penalty. So now Towson will be up extra for 30 seconds. So Gary, that whole minute of extra man again didn't do the Archers any good, and they failed to score.
Not a bit. Towson was able to fight away 2 of the shots that they took during that time. And of course, there when they had to recover and get on defense, Wilson, reminded me of the cornerback who's lost his receiver, knows that the touchdown is coming and simply interferes with him to prevent the TD. So that was probably one of those worthwhile penalties.
Towson on the extra man, number 14 with the ball, Brian Davis. Brian is taken down. And Andover working on its clear, ball on the ground. And picked up by Washburn. He looks in the center and intercepted. Nice play there for Andover.
Certainly the penalty paid off that time for Andover.
That nice play was by Tom Allers, the defenseman, but Towson gets it back. And here comes Brendan Kelly. Stopped there by Platt. He fires it outside, intended for Rex Fisher, but over his head. Towson will retain control again, and it will be John Sheehan. Towson leading 8-1. We've got 1 minute and 8 seconds left in the third period. So 1 goal scored so far only in this period, and that by Towson.
Well, Wilson, I think what we're seeing is Andover attempting to get back in the game very quickly with moving the ball quickly, long passes to try to recover, and that's not their game, and it's not. I'm sure it's not the way their coach Paul Shea wants them to play.
Towson attempting to pick up that loose ball, but it'll be Andover. It'll be Allers again. He's done some nice work on defense. And that'll be a call against Towson. That's a slash, and it'll be 1 minute. That penalty called on number 14, Brian Davis. So now Andover will have an extra man for 33 seconds of this quarter and 27 seconds in the next quarter. There are the Towson cheerleaders again: Lisa Vickers, Sheila Cohen, Lynn Lacey, Tricia Morani, and Heidi Brower here today cheering for the Generals. And so far they've had a lot to cheer about because Towson leads 8-1, and we're down to 30 seconds. Andover needing a goal desperately here. They are extra, and here's the shot and the score. Number 24, Scott Furnitt. And the assist to number 23, Rick Soverns, and it is now an 8-2 ball game. So with 18 seconds to go, we will have a face-off. It's 8-2, Towson leading Andover. And Coach Randy Days not particularly happy. And there's Brian Davis, that happened to his team with only a few seconds to go. No coach likes to be scored on with only a few seconds left to go in a period. But those Towson fans right behind their team. And Coach Days telling his players, let's get fired up. And Harold gets the face-off. Harold looking for somebody. And time is going to expire here in the third quarter. And that's it. The third quarter is over. And the Towson Generals still hold their 6-goal lead that they held at the end of the first half and lead Andover 8-2. 8-2 Towson. Stay with Cable 4. We'll be right back.
One thing, it's another. Choose. Oh, now what? Yes. I guess take a look at it.
We're ready for the fourth and final quarter. For these two teams as teams, the season will be over. There's still some all-star games coming up, but for the two teams, this is it for 1985. And they're the Towson Generals. Number 4, you see Nikki Hess, and they are very anxious to conclude an undefeated season. They're 11-0, Andover 12-2 coming into this game. So Towson leading 8-2, and the fourth quarter just about to get underway. 10 more minutes and it'll all be over. And Andover comes up with the face-off. Again, the team's going in opposite directions, coming in quickly. That was a nice fast break, but Towson recovered on defense. Pompanio made a nice play. And he sets it up to Eric Legay, as he does so often, to clear the ball. So back to Pompanio. Back to Legay. And Legay is going to run it up himself. Ball on that far sideline, and we'll get a call. And it'll go to Andover, so the ball must have gone out of bounds. So Andover will get control.
Wilson, at the end of the first half, Towson had taken 14 shots to Andover's 7. At this point in the ball game, just at the beginning of the fourth quarter, Andover so dominated the shots in that last quarter that they now have taken 19 shots to Towson 17.
And here's Tom Allers, a defenseman, clearing the ball.
Of course, they are still trailing 8-2.
Well, the Archers will pull out all the stops, certainly here in the fourth quarter, and they did look a little more aggressive in that third quarter than Towson. Again, a natural tendency is as our colleague Bob Gukwa pointed out to us up here in the booth, to let down. Even as the coaches can try to keep up that spirit, but when you're up by a big margin, you may tend to just get a little too fine. So Andover here now with the ball on offense. And the ball outside to number 5, Jeff Wadsworth. He had 21 goals so far this season, none here today, and that shot wide of the goal. And a nice stop by Pompanio. And Towson now, and people being taken down left and right. And the referee right there on the sideline watching this. And the ball will go over to Towson. Bob Gukwa points out to us also, Gary, that Towson has been averaging about 35 shots per game.
Well, perhaps that is in spite of their being well ahead of Andover. That may be a tribute to that Andover defense that has played so well this year.
Beautiful feed and shot attempt that time. Didn't go in. Here's Bacher with the ball. And Kelly will pick it up unmolested for Towson. So Towson now trying to get back on the offensive track. They're still up 8-2, but they haven't been getting that ball down offensively very much. And here's Brendan Kelly. Kelly looking, being worked over. Shot, and a nice shot there by Washburn, but by the goal. So Kelly setting up the feed. And I wish we had another camera, Gary, to just put on Coach Randy Days. He must run 15 miles in the course of these games up and down that sideline.
Yes, Wilson, he is a show in himself, although he's rather calm right now. But he was giving us quite a performance there a little bit earlier.
Ball picked up by number 20, Dave Fusting. Dave's a junior. Over to number 5, Bill Becker. And Bill is a sophomore. So Coach Days will lose Brendan Kelly, but he'll have a lot of people back for next season. And there's a shot stopped in the middle. And this is Dyhoff, Dave Dyhoff with the ball. Outstanding defenseman. And he'll throw it over to his goalie, Ken Platt. And Kelly coming right out and taking the goalie down. But Andover on the attack. The Archers trailing 8-2. We've got 6 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in the ball game. There's Coach Randy Days. Not happy with his team not controlling the ball much this half on offense. Slipping there is number 24, Scott Furniff.
Wilson, that was a small slip, but it's a real tribute to the UMBC crew here and their field, as dry as it is today, with all the rain that we had preceding today, and the fact that there were 2 games on this field yesterday.
That ball drifted across the crease, and fortunately for Towson, didn't go in. Andover with only 2 goals today from Finan and Furniff. And this is Pompanio. Pobbs a junior. He'll be back again next season. Towson on their clear, and coming up very alertly to get the ball is Washburn. Outside to number 24, Dorsey Moore. There's Coach Paul Shea, and on his left, our right, John Eppelt, the assistant coach for Andover. Goff with the ball. Towson using up some time here. We're under 5 minutes. And here's Bacher. And he scores! Dave Bacher with his 3rd goal today, and the Towson Generals have increased their margin. It is now 9-2 Towson. So Dave Bacher, the feeder, today has 3 goals. He only had 13 all season, and He is also only a sophomore.
Wilson, when Towson got control of that ball in their own end, they were very content to control it. They're well in the lead. They took their time getting it up, took their time setting up offensively, but they've still been aggressive going after that goal. What we saw in the Delaney game is after they got that big lead, they lost some of that offensive aggressiveness, and it almost cost them there at the end. They've not allowed that to happen in this game.
4:41 to go in the fourth quarter, and Towson with a 9-2 lead, and here comes John Sheehan. And of course the Generals, all the time they can just control the ball, and Sheehan goes out of bounds. So the ball will go over to Andover, but all the time the Towson can work it around, of course those seconds tick off. And David Dyhoff now with the ball for Andover, and the Archers have had a tremendous season in a very tough league down in Anne Arundel County.
Certainly, Wilson, we do want to thank the both schools for their cooperation in getting us information about these teams and helping us in preparing for today's game.
Towson with the loose ball. That's number 5, Bill Becker. Well, Coach Paul Shea was very helpful from Andover because he called and gave us all the information about his team. Coach Randy Days had several pages of statistics for us before the game. And there's a call of offsides against Andover. It's really nice, Gary, having an official up here in the booth. He's making the calls and the signals right along with the 3 gentlemen out on the field.
As soon as the whistle blows, we know now what the call is going to be.
Well, I think it's a tribute, too, to the quality of the kind of ball we're seeing in this area because Bob Gukwa is an official. He's not working a game today, and the team that his son played on, the Catonsville Comets, were beaten by Towson in the semifinals to get here, and yet he's here today watching the game. Because people just like to see good lacrosse, and we've seen it today. An outstanding game in the first game in overtime, won by Falston over Northeast. And right now, Towson Generals in control. And again, those referees today, Craig Tillman, Chris Ely, and Jim Bateman. And picking the ball up for Andover is number 26, Mike Kasperi. And we're down to 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and that's Dyhoff, a defenseman. And that's Eric Legay with stick and foot attempting to control the ball, and it's out of bounds. And it's out of an Andover stick, so Towson will control. 3 minutes and 6 seconds left to go in the 1985 season, and the Towson Generals in command 9-2 on their way to a perfect season and a state championship.
Well, it's just a little bit of revenge for Baltimore County this year in the State A, because they were defeated by an Anne Arundel County team last year in South River in the state final, and now they've been able to turn the tables here and obviously win the State A championship this year. Oh, what a shot.
Washburn with a backward over-the-shoulder shot from Brendan Kelly. It just didn't go in the goal. And this is Bacher, and he scores. Dave Bacher with 4 goals today. And we enjoyed his work earlier in the season as a feeder against Towson and Delaney, but today Dave has said it's my turn, and he has 4 goals for Towson today, and Towson now with a 10-2 lead. And the fans chanting up to 10, and we want more. 10-2, Towson in the lead. 2 minutes, 29 seconds to go. The Towson JV team having an excellent season, losing only in a close game to Delaney. So Towson Athletics having fine seasons in track, indoor track, and there's a call. Referees conferring here on that call, but we do have a flag on the field. And it'll be a 1-minute call. Unnecessary roughness against Andover. A little frustrated here, knowing that the game, for all intents and purposes, is over for them and their season over. But we found this over previous seasons with Towson quite often, Gary. Teams will try to play them by being very physical, or teams will try to finesse, and in either case, the Generals have a way to beat it. And a lot of it is that crisp passing and teamwork. Nobody on the team playing as a star. Everybody playing as a member of a team.
Well, Wilson, in almost every case, if a team plays together and is well grounded in fundamentals, it doesn't matter a whole lot what they come up against. They'll be able to adjust to it.
And a tribute to the coaches, Randy Walker and Randy Dace. And here's another flag on the field. And this will be a slash. Another call against Andover, this against Diehoff, and now Towson will be up by 2. But I think Coach Randy Walker would be just as happy with this 10-2 win. He's not going to try to run it up and embarrass anybody. And Coach Paul Shea here is looking for a timeout. And nobody can see him, and now they get the call. And it'll be timeout Andover. They're down 10-2, and we've got 1:39 left to go in this game. So stay with Cable 4 for the exciting conclusion of today's game. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for the path to success? Find your way by training for a career in real estate at Catonsville Community College. Real estate today goes beyond the buying and selling of single-family homes. Catonsville graduates are ready to start careers in industrial brokerage, farm and land brokerage, property management, land development, and urban planning. Catonsville's real estate programs are developed with the help of Baltimore area real estate firms. Let Catonsville Community College open the door to your real estate future. Call 455-4555.
Fourth quarter almost over. Towson leading 10-2. A lot of these ball players, of course, play in the Summer Heroes League, so they've played together for a long time. And Towson now just running out the clock. And we'd certainly like to congratulate another Baltimore County team that made it to the semifinals this year, Coach Charles Reisenweber and those Catonsville Comets, because they had a fine season moving up into the upper division in Baltimore County, and they finished with a great record, and they ended up in the semifinals, losing only to these Towson Generals 16-9, scoring more goals on Towson than anybody had done this season. So Baltimore County having a fine year in lacrosse. Delaney making it to the semifinals under Coach Gary Schreiber. Their only loss in Baltimore County played to Towson. And we're down now to a minute. Towson holding and commanding 10-2 lead. And that'll be a call again against Andover. Just total frustration here for the Archers. They've had a fine season. They'll finish at 12-3 and maybe be back next year. And there's a shot and a nice stop by Platt. And another shot, a tremendous shot there. Just a second, we'll see who that is. But he picked the ball up off the ground, wheeled, shot, fell down, and that was number 7, Ron Casey, a senior, playing in his last game. He hasn't had much of a chance to play a lot this year, but in his last game, with 48 seconds left to go, he gives Towson their 11th goal. They now lead 11-2, and that was very nice from Mr. Casey. Picked the ball up, wheeled, fell down, shot, and scored. And there's one of the Dieterman triplets sitting there in the stands, and there's one of her sisters, and there's another of her sisters in that front row. And we won't begin to try to tell you from this angle which is which. Delay of game called against Andover, so again Towson will have the ball. And coming in for Andover, number 49, Charles Benny, coming in to get a little work on defense again so that he can say that he played in this championship game. Towson on their way to a perfect season, and there's Mr. Casey again. Now he's got to go back and get his stick. And again, players getting a little frustrated here. And the referee's quick to step in and make sure that things don't get out of hand and nobody gets hurt. Because some of these players have all-star games to play in. So we've got two calls here. So that's a push called against Andover's, push called against Towson, a slash called against Andover. So Towson will get the ball. And some penalty time. And again, our thanks to our unofficial official up here in the booth. And this is number 11 for Towson, Dave Duda, who is a junior. Coach Dace getting everybody in. Pompanio's not in the goal anymore. We've got Dennis Baker in there. And this is number 21 for Towson, Ty Boggs. And here comes another call.
Lots of action here, Wilson.
Lots of calls here.
At the very end of the ball game.
People.
It's a good thing we have an official up here in the booth with us. We can't keep up with all these calls.
Got called for a slash, but looks like a wholesale run to the penalty box. And this will be with 13 seconds left to go.
I think Coach Shea has called a timeout in an attempt to just settle things down here, even though there are only a few seconds left. He simply does not want a championship game to get out of hand right here at the end. The officials certainly doing their part to keep things under control. And with these 13 seconds left, everybody wants things to end on as stable a note as possible.
And Gary, again, leading that Towson cheer. You may have been able to see on your screen there for a second, one of the most outstanding girls basketball players I've ever seen anywhere, Miss Kathy Bowden.
And her performance was a real joy to watch at Catonsville Community College in the state championship game, even though Towson did lose by, what was it, 1 point?
4 points.
4 points? It was a 1-point game right up until the end, I guess, to Hagerstown. But she was just outstanding all year and did herself proud in that game as well.
Well, Towson here 13 seconds away from their perfect season. They'll be 12-0, and they'll be the Class A state champions. And for all Towson graduates everywhere, one up here in the booth, this is a moment to savor.
Well, congratulations, Coach.
It's a long time coming, but it's a great thing to see. The Towson Generals, 11-2 victors here today, winning the state championship from the Andover Archers, who also had a tremendous season. They finish at 12-3 under coaches Paul Shea and John Appelt. So a fine season for those young men. But on the other side of the field, in maroon and white, the Towson Generals celebrating, and over there embracing Coach Randy Walker was number 13, Brendan Kelly.
Well, Wilson, this is quite a day for you as you watch your high school alma mater victorious in this state championship, and I know your heart is a little bit there with Washington College as they go for the Division III championship.
Absolutely. It was a tough call to make, but being here today, seeing these young men play so hard and knowing the kinds of work they do all season, the coaches on both sides who spend so much time with these young men, teaching them, encouraging them, and showing them how to play the game the way it should be played, all out, but with sportsmanship and with good, solid play. And we've seen that here today as Towson scores 11 goals, 4 goals for Brendan Kelly, 4 goals for Dave Bacher, 2 for Tim Washburn, and 1 for Ron Casey. And we'd like to also thank, out there in the blue jacket is Ron Balinko, the Director of Boys Athletics for Baltimore County. And Gary, there he is. Well, you could see him there for a second in the center of the screen to get the trophy. He has been one happy man. We've worked with Ron a lot over the last couple of years, and he is so thrilled that Baltimore County could win a championship here today. For Andover, the scoring, there are 2 goals by Steve Finan and Scott Furniff, and all county performers Jeff Wadsworth and Todd Holtzner were held scoreless today by that outstanding Towson defense. Not only defense on the close defense, but defense in the midfield. And we see here Andover is receiving their runner-up trophies and receiving congratulations. There they are. And there's Ron Balinko with the blue jacket on there and the blonde hair and the glasses. And Ron has been is a great enthusiast for Baltimore County athletics and works very hard. He and Mildred Murray in putting together the programs, and then of course the coaches who do such fine work all year long. There's Andover getting their awards as runners-up for the 1985 season.
Wilson, just very quickly to provide some unofficial stats here, Towson did dominate in the ball game, winning 12 face-offs and taking 23 shots. Now, Andover did make quite a comeback with having 22 shots, but of course the big difference, the scoring, 11-2 in favor of Towson. Ground balls, Towson dominated in that area, some 20 ground balls to 12, and the saves were very close, interestingly enough. Pompanio for Towson had 10 saves, and Ken Platt for Andover had 11. And there you see the Towson Generals receiving their state championship awards.
And anyone who's ever participated in any sport knows the thrill that one gets to win a state championship, to be the best in the entire state, particularly in the state of Maryland in lacrosse, which is one of the hotbeds of lacrosse along with the state of New York. And to be the best in any division in the state of Maryland is an honor not to be taken lightly. And these young men are extremely happy and have every right to be. We've noticed all season, Gary, they play the game hard, but they play cleanly. They play to win. They don't hang their heads when they get behind. And they do a very fine job at Towson High School under Randy Walker and Randy Dace. And don't forget to be with Cable 4 on Saturday, May 25th at 1 for the Baltimore County Girls All-Star Lacrosse game, at 3 o'clock on May 25th for the MSA County Boys All-Star Lacrosse game, on Wednesday, May 29th at 8 o'clock, the County Girls All-Star game again, and on Saturday, June 1st at 1 o'clock, our final broadcast, the MSA versus County Boys All-Star Lacrosse game. So all hail the champions. The Towson Generals have won today by a score of 11-2 and are the Maryland State Class A Public School lacrosse champions for 1985. This is Wilson Watson together with Gary Keaty saying it's been our pleasure to be here, and we'll see you on our next broadcast. For everybody at Cable 4, so long, everybody.